I was traded from my best friend. They didn't expect everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm about to tell you a story that changed my life forever. You know that feeling when everything seems perfect? When you think you have it all figured out? That was me 2 years ago. I had the perfect marriage, the perfect best friend, the perfect life. Or so I thought. I never imagined that the biggest betrayal of my life would come from the two people I trusted most in this world. The two people I would have died for. But here's the thing. Sometimes the worst moments of your life become the best thing that ever happened to you. And my revenge. Well, let's just say it was absolutely epic. So grab something to drink, get comfortable, because this is going to be a wild ride. Welcome to Revenge Cat. We reveal gripping stories of broken trust, family secrets, and shocking twists. If you're craving powerful narratives, raw emotions, and the sweet pain of karma, this is your place. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing. My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm 32 years old, and I work as a nurse here in Chicago. I've always been the kind of person who puts others first. Maybe that was my first mistake. 7 years ago, I married Mark. He was this charming accountant with the most beautiful smile. He made me feel like I was the only woman in the world. We had this little house in Lincoln Park. Nothing fancy, but it was ours. I thought we were building something beautiful together. And then there was Chloe. God, Chloe. She'd been my best friend since we were 15. We went through everything together. High school drama, college heartbreaks, my nursing school stress, her marketing career struggles. She was like the sister I never had. She was my maid of honor. She held my hand when my mom died 3 years ago. She was everything to me. The three of us were inseparable. Mark loved Chloe like a sister too, or so I thought. We'd have dinner parties, game nights, vacations together. I used to joke that Chloe was part of our marriage. I had no idea how right I was. For 7 years, I lived in this bubble of happiness. I worked my 12-hour shifts at the hospital, came home to Mark making dinner, and Chloe would come over at least 3 times a week. It was our routine, our perfect little routine. They're usually too good to be true. It started small. Really small. Things I should have noticed but didn't, because, well, when you trust someone completely, you don't look for reasons not to. About 6 months ago, Mark started working late, more often. Nothing crazy, just an extra hour here and there. He'd text me, "Sorry babe, client emergency. Don't wait up." I never questioned it. Mark was dedicated to his job. That's one of the things I loved about him. Chloe started acting weird around the same time. She'd get these phone calls when we were together and step away to take them. When I'd ask who it was, she'd just say work stuff and change the subject. And then there were the little things. Mark started showering as soon as he got home from these late nights. He used to always kiss me first, tell me about his day. Now he'd just head straight to the bathroom. Chloe stopped talking about guys. For years, she'd tell me about every date, every crush, every disappointment. Suddenly, nothing. When I'd ask, she'd just say she was focusing on herself. I remember one night, this was maybe 4 months ago, I was making dinner and Mark's phone kept buzzing on the counter. I glanced at it without thinking. Just reflex, you know. The screen showed a heart emoji, and thanks for today my stomach dropped. Not because it was necessarily suspicious, but because Mark never used heart emoji ever. I used to tease him about being emotionally unavailable through text. So who was making him send heart emojis when he came out of the shower? I asked him about it casually. "Someone's been texting you," I said, trying to keep my voice light. He grabbed his phone so fast. So fast. And he said, "Oh, just a client thanking me for staying late to finish their taxes." A client sending hard emoji at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay there next to my husband, listening to him breathe, and for the first time in 7 years, I felt alone in my own bed. But I pushed it down. I told myself I was being paranoid. Mark loved me. He'd never. He wouldn't. God. I was so naive. Over the next few weeks, the little things became bigger things. Mark started putting his phone face down everywhere. Always. Even when he went to the bathroom, that phone went with him. We used to share everything. He'd show me funny memes, cute dog videos, whatever. Now his phone was like Fort Knox. And Chloe started canceling our girls' nights. She'd been having dinner at our place every Friday for literally 5 years. Suddenly she was too busy with work or not feeling well or had other plans. But here's the thing that really got me. When she did come over, she and Mark would have these little inside jokes. They'd laugh about things I wasn't part of. When I'd ask what was funny, they'd both go quiet and Mark would say something like, "Oh, just something that happened at the office today." Except Chloe didn't work at Mark's office. She worked in marketing for a tech startup downtown. I started paying attention. Really paying attention. When Mark worked late, Chloe was mysteriously unavailable. When Chloe canceled our plans, Mark would suddenly have client dinners. It was like they were operating on the same schedule, but a schedule that didn't include me. One Friday night. This was about 3 months ago. Chloe canceled our dinner again. Something about her boss making her work late on a big presentation. So I decided to surprise her with coffee and donuts from her favorite place downtown. I wanted to be a good friend, you know. Support her during her stressful time. I walked into her office building at 7 p.m. The security guard let me up because he recognized me. I'd been there so many times over the years for Chloe's work parties. The floor was dark. Completely empty. I asked the security guard when people usually left on Fridays. He said most of the marketing team was gone by 5 p.m., especially in summer. Chloe wasn't working late. She was lying to me. I sat in my car in that parking garage for 20 minutes, just staring at my phone. I could have called her, confronted her right then. But something held me back. Some instinct told me to wait, to watch. That's when I realized. If Chloe was lying to me, and Mark was working late at the same time, ... No, I couldn't think like that. These were the two people I loved most in the world. They WOULDN. Single quotes, T ... They couldn't, but the seed was planted. And once doubt starts growing, it's almost impossible to stop. I became someone I didn't recognize. Someone I never wanted to be. I started investigating my own life. I began noticing Mark's patterns. Every Tuesday and Thursday, late nights. Every other Friday, client dinners. But when I'd casually ask about these clients over breakfast the next morning, his stories were always vague. Generic problems, unnamed companies. I started checking Chloe's social media obsessively. She used to post everything. Her breakfast, her workout, her Netflix shows. Suddenly, radio silence. No posts during the times she claimed to be working late. 3 weeks into my unofficial investigation, I did something I never thought I'd do. I went through Mark's laptop. He was in the shower. His second shower that day, which was becoming a pattern, and his laptop was open on the kitchen counter. He'd been paying bills, and he forgot to close it. I told myself I was just going to check our bank statements. Make sure everything was normal. But then I saw his browser history. Restaurant reservations. Hotels. Gift purchases from stores I'd never heard of. All on days when he was supposedly working late. My hands were shaking as I clicked through the details. Dinner for two at this romantic Italian place downtown. The same night Chloe canceled our girls' night because she was too tired. A weekend reservation at a bed and breakfast in Wisconsin. The weekend, Mark told me he was going to a work conference in Milwaukee. But the thing that broke me, the thing that made it real, was a credit card charge from Victoria's Secret, $200, 3 weeks ago. Mark had never bought me lingerie. In 7 years of marriage, not once. He always said he didn't know my sizes, didn't know what I'd like. But apparently, he knew someone's sizes. Someone's preferences. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. Just completely lost it. When Mark got out of the shower and found me on the bathroom floor, I told him I had food poisoning from lunch. He was so sweet, so caring. He made me soup, rubbed my back, told me he loved me. And all I could think was, how long have you been lying to me? That night, after Mark fell asleep, I did something else I never thought I'd do. I went through his phone. It wasn't hard. Mark wasn't very tech-savvy, and he'd been using the same passcode for years. My birthday. The irony wasn't lost on me. What I found. God. What I found changed everything. Messages. Hundreds of messages. Going back for months. Can't wait to see you tonight. Mark. Last night was incredible. I hate that we have to sneak around. Do you think Sarah suspects anything? I love you so much. And the name at the top of the message thread. Chloe. My husband was having an affair with my best friend. The two people I trusted most in the world were betraying me together. Planning around me. Lying to my face while they lived this secret life. I sat there in my kitchen at 2 a.m., reading message after message, and I felt something inside me break. Not just my heart. Though that was shattered. Something deeper. Something that had always been soft and trusting and kind. But you know what else I felt? Anger. Pure white-hot anger. They thought I was stupid. They thought I was blind. They thought they could play me while they played house behind my back. They had no idea what they'd just unleashed. I didn't confront them that night, or the next day, or even the next week. Instead, I started planning. I went to work the next morning like nothing had happened. Smiled at Mark over coffee. Texted Chloe about weekend plans. Acted like the same trusting, naive Sarah they thought they knew. But inside, I was methodically planning their destruction. First, I needed evidence. Real evidence. Screenshots weren't enough. Mark could claim his phone was hacked or something. I needed undeniable proof of their affair. I borrowed a tiny camera from my friend Jake. He uses them for his security business. I planted it in Mark's car, hidden in the sun visor. If they were meeting up, driving somewhere together, I'd have video proof. Next, I went to see a divorce lawyer, not to file yet, but to understand my options. What I learned was very, very interesting. Illinois is a no-fault divorce state, but adultery can still affect property division and spousal support. The lawyer told me that if I could prove Mark was using our joint assets to fund his affair, I might be entitled to a larger share of our marital property. Remember those credit card charges? The restaurants, the hotels, the lingerie, all paid for with our joint accounts. Mark was literally using my money to cheat on me. I started documenting everything. Every charge, every late night, every lie. I created a folder on my laptop called Work Schedules. If anyone found it, they'd think it was just nursing shift information. But inside were screenshots, photos, dates, times, credit card statements. The hardest part was acting normal. Coming home every day. Kissing my cheating husband. Texting my backstabbing best friend. Pretending I didn't know that when Mark said he was working late, he was actually with Chloe. pretending I believed Chloe when she said she was too busy to hang out, when really she was busy destroying my marriage. But I did it. For 6 weeks, I played the perfect wife and perfect friend while I built my case against them. The camera in Mark's car was paying off. I had footage of them meeting at parking lots, kissing in the front seat like teenagers. I had video of them going into hotels together, coming out hours later looking satisfied and guilty. I even followed them once. I'm not proud of it, but I did. They went to dinner at this cute little bistro on the north side. I sat 3 tables away, wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses, like some kind of movie spy. Watching them together was torture. The way Mark looked at Chloe, he used to look at me like that. The way she laughed at his jokes, touched his hand across the table. These weren't the tentative moves of a new affair. They were comfortable together. Familiar. How long had this been going on? How many lies had I believed? How many times had they laughed about fooling me? But watching them also gave me something else. Resolve. Cold, hard resolve. They thought they were so smart. So careful. They had no idea I was 3 steps ahead of them. 3 weeks ago, I put the final piece of my plan into motion. Mark's 35th birthday was coming up, and every year, I threw him a party. Nothing huge, just close friends and family. Chloe always helped me plan it. This year, when Chloe offered to help with the planning, I smiled and said, "Of course. I couldn't do it without you." She had no idea she was helping me plan her own public humiliation. Mark's birthday party was scheduled for Saturday night. I'd invited about 30 people. His parents, his brother, my sister, close friends from work, neighbors we'd grown close to over the years, all the people who mattered to us, all the people who would witness what I was about to do. I spent 2 weeks making everything perfect. I booked our favorite restaurant's private dining room. I ordered his favorite cake from the bakery where we got our wedding cake. I even bought him a gift, a nice watch he'd been wanting. Everything had to look normal, perfect. Even Chloe was so helpful through all of this. She offered to pick up decorations, helped me finalize the guest list, even suggested we make a slideshow of photos from Mark's birthdays over the years. "That's a great idea," I told her, my voice steady even though my heart was pounding. "But I want to surprise him. Can you help me set up a projector and screen?" She was so excited to help. She had no idea she was helping me set up her own execution. The week before the party, I put together my slideshow. It started innocently enough. Baby photos Mark's mom had given me, pictures from college, our wedding photos. Mark and me, laughing, dancing, looking so happy and in love. But then the slideshow took a turn. Screenshots of text messages. "Can't wait to see you tonight. I love you so much." Photos from the camera in Mark's car. Them kissing, holding hands. Credit card statements highlighting hotel charges and restaurant bills. And the final slide, in big bold letters. "Happy birthday, Mark. Thanks for showing me who my real friends are." I must have watched that slideshow 100 times that week, making sure every detail was perfect. Every screenshot was clear. Every photo was damning. Every piece of evidence was undeniable. My hands shook every time I got to the end. Not from fear, from anticipation. The night before the party, Mark was being extra sweet. He kept thanking me for planning everything, telling me how lucky he was to have me. "You're the best wife a guy could ask for," he said, pulling me close on the couch. I smiled and kissed him. "You have no idea what you're getting tomorrow night." He thought I was talking about his present. That same night, Chloe came over to help me prep some of the decorations. We sat at my kitchen table, the same table where I'd discovered their affair, making centerpieces and laughing about old memories. Remember your wedding? She said, tying ribbons around flower vases. I was so nervous giving that maid of honor speech. You were perfect, I said, focused on my own ribbon work. You said I deserved nothing but loyalty and love. She got quiet for a moment. Then she said, Sarah, you know I love you, right? You're like a sister to me. I looked up at her then. Really looked at her. This person I'd trusted with everything. This person who was sleeping with my husband while sitting in my kitchen, helping me plan his birthday party. I love you too, Chloe, I said. More than you know. The next morning, the day of the party, I woke up feeling calm for the first time in months. No anxiety, no dread, no wondering if I was crazy for suspecting them. Just a cold, clear certainty about what I was going to do. Mark was in a great mood all day. He kept trying to guess what his surprise was going to be. He had no idea his surprise was going to be the end of life as he knew it. I spent the day getting ready like it was any other party. I did my hair, put on makeup, wore the red dress Mark had bought me for our anniversary last year. I wanted to look perfect when I destroyed his world. At 6 p.m., we headed to the restaurant. Mark was practically bouncing with excitement. He kept talking about how great it was going to be to have everyone together, how grateful he was for the party. This is going to be a night to remember, I told him. He had no idea how right I was. The restaurant's private room looked perfect. Elegant but warm, just like Mark liked. The projector was set up in the corner, connected to my laptop. The screen was positioned where everyone could see it from their seats. People started arriving around 6:30. Mark was in his element, greeting everyone, accepting birthday wishes, playing the role of beloved husband and friend. Chloe arrived at 7, looking stunning in a blue dress I'd never seen before. She hugged me tight when she walked in. This looks amazing, Sarah, she whispered. Mark's going to love it. Oh, he's definitely going to remember this night forever, I replied. Mark's parents were there, beaming with pride at their successful son. His brother Jake flew in from Denver. My sister Emma came with her husband. All of Mark's work friends, our neighbors, people from my hospital. Everyone who mattered was there to witness what I was about to do. Dinner went perfectly. I played the part of the loving wife hosting her husband's celebration. I laughed at his jokes, refilled wine glasses, made sure everyone felt welcome. Mark gave a little speech, thanking everyone for coming, thanking me for being the most amazing wife. He even thanked Chloe for being such a wonderful friend to both of us. Sarah and I are so lucky to have Chloe in our lives, he said, raising his wine glass. She's been there for us through everything. She's like family. People clinked glasses and smiled. Chloe blushed prettily and said something about how much she loved us both. I watched this performance with fascination. They were both so good at lying, so comfortable with deception. After dinner, I stood up and tapped my wine glass with my fork. Everyone, can I get your attention, please? I said, my voice carrying clearly through the room. I have a special birthday surprise for Mark. Mark grinned, looking so excited. Sarah, you didn't have to. Oh, but I did, I interrupted gently. This is something I've been working on for weeks. It's a slideshow of memories. Your life, our life together, all the people who mattered to us. Everyone settled in to watch. The lights dimmed. I clicked the remote to start the slideshow. It began beautifully. Baby photos of Mark that made everyone laugh. Pictures from college that made his friends cheer. Our engagement photos, our wedding day. People were making those warm, happy sounds audiences make during sentimental presentations. Mark reached over and squeezed my hand. Sarah, this is incredible. Just wait, I said softly. The best part is coming. And then the slideshow shifted. The first screenshot appeared on the screen. A text message exchange. Mark's name at the top, but not messages to me. Can't wait to see you tonight. Sarah thinks I'm working late. The room went quiet. People started reading, trying to understand what they were seeing. The next slide. Last night was incredible. I love the way you make me feel. I heard someone gasp. Mark's hand dropped from mine. Sarah, he said, his voice tight. What is this? Your birthday present, I said calmly. The truth. The slideshow continued. Message after message, each one more damning than the last. I hate lying to Sarah, but I can't stop seeing you. Do you think she suspects anything? I love you so much more than I ever loved her. The room was dead silent except for the quiet gasps and whispers as people read each message. Mark's face went white. I could see Chloe out of the corner of my eye, frozen in her chair like a deer in headlights. Then came the photos. The camera footage from Mark's car. Him and Chloe kissing in the front seat. Her getting out of his car at a hotel. Them walking hand in hand through a parking lot. Sarah, stop this, Mark said, reaching for the remote. But I held it away from him. No, I said, my voice still calm but stronger now. Everyone deserves to see the real Mark. The real Chloe. The next slide was a credit card statement. I'd highlighted every charge related to their affair. Hotel rooms, expensive dinners, jewelry, lingerie. This is what my husband has been spending our money on, I announced to the room. Our joint account, my money, funding his affair with my best friend. Someone, I think it was Mark's brother, said holy shit. Under his breath, Chloe finally found her voice. Sarah, please, let us explain. Explain. I turned to look at her directly for the first time. Explain how you've been fucking my husband for 4 months. Explain how you've been lying to my face while planning weekend getaways with the man I've been married to for 7 years. The room erupted. People started talking all at once. Mark's mother gasped so loud it cut through the noise. My sister stood up, her face furious, staring at Chloe like she wanted to throw her wine in her face. Mark was trying to damage control. Everyone, please, this is not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like. I laughed, and even I was surprised by how bitter it sounded. Mark, there are literally photos of you making out with my best friend. What exactly does it look like? The final slides were the best ones. Screenshots of them talking about me. Sarah's working a double shift tonight. We can go to the house. She's so clueless. Sometimes I feel bad. Don't feel bad. She's not smart enough to figure it out anyway. I can't wait until we can stop pretending and be together for real. That last one broke something in the room. The pretense that maybe this was just physical, just a mistake. They were planning a future together. They were planning to leave me. Mark's father, who had always treated me like a daughter, stood up and looked at his son with disgust. Mark, he said, his voice shaking with anger. How could you do this? But I wasn't done yet. The final slide appeared. Happy 35th birthday, Mark. Thank you for showing me who my real friends are. And Chloe, thank you for taking out the trash. I couldn't have done it without you. Then I reached into my purse and pulled out an envelope. Oh, and one more birthday present, I said, handing it to Mark with a smile. His hands were shaking as he opened it. Divorce papers. You're served, I said pleasantly. Happy birthday, honey. The room exploded into chaos. People were shouting, crying, demanding answers. Mark's mother was sobbing into her husband's shoulder. My sister was screaming at Chloe, calling her every name in the book. Mark was just staring at the papers, looking completely shell-shocked. Chloe tried to run, but my sister blocked her path to the door. "Where do you think you're going?" Emma snarled. "After what you just did to my sister." And me, I just stood there, calm as anything, watching my carefully planned revenge unfold exactly as I'd imagined it. But the public humiliation wasn't the end of my revenge. It was just the beginning. See, while Mark and Chloe were busy sneaking around and thinking they were so clever, I'd been busy too. Busy protecting myself and making sure their betrayal cost them everything. I'd already moved half of our savings into an account in my name only. Perfectly legal, since it was joint money and I had documentation of Mark using our funds for his affair. I'd contacted Mark's boss. Remember, he's an accountant, and reputation matters in his field. I didn't have to say much. Just sent over some of the evidence of him lying about work commitments and using company time for personal matters. Turns out, some of those late nights at the office were actually late nights at hotels, and Mark had been claiming overtime pay for them. Chloe's company got an anonymous email with screenshots of her personal messages sent during work hours, including some very explicit photos she'd sent Mark from her office. Her marketing firm was very family-oriented, very conservative. They didn't appreciate their employees using company resources for adultery. But the best part, the absolute best part, was what happened with their relationship. See, I knew something Mark and Chloe didn't know about themselves. Their affair wasn't built on love. It was built on secrecy, on the thrill of doing something forbidden. Take away the secrecy, and what do you have left? Within 2 weeks of the party, they were fighting constantly. The excitement of sneaking around was gone, replaced by the reality of everyone knowing what they'd done. Mark's family disowned Chloe completely. Our friend group split down the middle, but most people sided with me because, well, I was the one who got cheated on. Chloe couldn't handle the pressure. She'd never been the villain in anyone's story before, and suddenly everyone saw her as the woman who destroyed her best friend's marriage. She started calling me, crying, begging for forgiveness. "Sarah, please," she sobbed into my voicemail one night. "I made a mistake. I love you. You're my best friend. I never meant for this to happen." I didn't call her back, but I did save the voicemail, evidence that she knew exactly what she was doing and how wrong it was. Mark tried a different approach. He tried to blame me. "Sarah, you embarrassed me in front of my entire family," he said when he came to collect his things. "You could have handled this privately." "Like how you handled your affair privately?" I asked, not looking up from the book I was reading. "Oh wait, you didn't handle it privately. You just handled it stupidly." He tried to argue that we could work through this, go to counseling, start over. "Mark," I said, finally looking at him, "you spent 4 months lying to my face while sleeping with my best friend. You used my money to buy her presents. You made me feel crazy for suspecting what my instincts were telling me was true. There is no coming back from that." The divorce was finalized 3 months later. I got the house, half of our savings, and spousal support for 2 years while I get back on my feet. Mark had to pay my legal fees too, since the adultery was so well documented. Chloe lost her job and had to move back in with her parents at age 30. Mark got demoted at work and lost several major clients who didn't want to work with someone who publicly humiliated his wife. They tried to make their relationship work for about 6 months after everything came out. But without the thrill of betrayal, without the excitement of secret meetings, they realized they didn't actually have much in common. Mark called me when they broke up. "Sarah," he said, "I think I made the biggest mistake of my life." "You think?" I replied. "Mark, you didn't make a mistake. You made a choice. Every day for 4 months, you chose to lie to me. You chose to betray me. You chose to risk our marriage for someone who turned out not to be worth it. That wasn't a mistake. That was who you really are. I hung up on him. It was the last time we spoke. That was 2 years ago. And you know what? It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I know that sounds crazy. Having your husband cheat on you with your best friend, having your entire life blow up in front of 30 people. How could that be a good thing? Because it freed me. For 7 years, I was married to a man who was capable of looking me in the eye every day while betraying me with the person I trusted most. For 15 years, I had a best friend who was willing to destroy my marriage for her own selfish desires. I was living a lie, and I didn't even know it. The Sarah from 2 years ago was naive, trusting to a fault, always putting other people's needs before her own. She would have stayed in that marriage, probably would have forgiven the affair, would have spent the rest of her life wondering if her husband was cheating again. But this Sarah knows her worth. This Sarah doesn't accept betrayal and lies and manipulation. This Sarah plans epic revenge when people think they can play her for a fool. I'm not bitter anymore. I was, for a while. But bitterness is just anger that you hold on to for too long, and I refuse to let Mark and Chloe take up any more space in my head than they already had. I sold the house and bought a cute little condo downtown. I'm dating again, nothing serious yet, but I'm meeting people who actually deserve my trust. I've made new friends, real friends, who don't stab me in the back while smiling to my face. And my revenge. It wasn't just about humiliating them publicly, though that was satisfying. It was about taking back my power. It was about refusing to be the victim in my own story. Sometimes people ask me if I regret how I handled it. If I should have confronted them privately instead of exposing them in front of everyone. And I tell them this. They made the choice to betray me. They made the choice to lie to me. They made the choice to risk everything for their selfish desires. I simply made the choice to let everyone see who they really were. So if you're watching this and you're going through something similar, if someone has betrayed your trust and broken your heart, remember this: you are not responsible for their choices, but you are responsible for how you respond to them. Don't let anyone make you the victim in your own story. Take back your power. Show them, and yourself, what you're really made of. And sometimes, the best revenge isn't getting even. It's getting better. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time. For more heartwarming videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and share. If you're craving powerful storytelling, raw emotion, and the sweet pain of karma, this is the place for you.